What is up, guys? Welcome to my Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order review. Now, is this a good Star Wars game? That is the question on everyone's mind. And to be honest, I never had high hopes for this game, nor was I really following it up to its release date. After the last two Star Wars games had released so poorly and brought shame to the classic Battlefront series, which holds a dear place in my heart, I had honestly lost hope in EA and Disney, as I'm sure most of you have. But I can say that this game did not disappoint, and it's probably up there with some of the best Star Wars games. But that's not to say it's not without its flaws, because they are definitely there. But they don't take away from the main experience at all, at least not in my opinion. As far as bugs go, I hadn't really experienced any. I know on console there's extremely long loading times, but on PC, the loading times are not long at all. So, let's get into the review. Now, without getting into spoilers, I think Respawn did a great job with the story. It takes place just 5 years after Order 66 and the fall of the Jedi. You play as a former Jedi Padawan known as Cal Kestis, who is currently working and hiding on a shipyard where he dismantles old cruisers from the Clone Wars era. His cover gets blown, and he is then hunted down by the Inquisitors. If you don't know who the Inquisitors are, it's a group of Force-sensitive people who are trained by Darth Vader to hunt down the surviving Jedi and recruit or kill them. He then gets rescued by some people trying to restart the Jedi Order, and we get introduced to Sarah Junda, who is a former Jedi Master. She has cut herself off from the Force due to something that has happened in her past that we can't necessarily get into because of the spoilers that surround the story. We also get introduced to Grease Dritus, the captain of your ship. Shortly after, you land on your first planet and meet BD-1, who is the droid companion that helps you on your journey. From there, you go from planet to planet searching for a holocron, which has all the Force-sensitive children in the universe on it. Overall, I think the story fits well within the Star Wars canon and really pulls you in with certain scenes. I really liked all the Clone Wars references and was surprised when I saw them because of how heavily Disney tries to push the new and original trilogy down everyone's throats, but I was overjoyed when seeing these references. I really liked how they pulled from the Star Wars The Clone Wars TV series, as well as used some of the show for its story. The campaign is roughly 15 hours long, which is kinda disappointing, as there is also no New Game Plus in it either. But as far as replayability goes, you can go back at the end of the game and try to find all the customizations that you might have missed before. As you play through the game, you'll be visiting around 8 planets, some new, never heard of before, and some familiar like Kashyyyk and Dathomir, which is Darth Maul's homeworld, and is also featured in the Clone Wars TV show. Now, on these planets you will be doing some backtracking, but it is forgiven because each time you come back, you have new abilities and new paths to follow, so the backtracking is not all too bad. The maps aren't the best, but they serve the purpose that they are needed. By no way are they bad maps, and it never really gets boring revisiting these planets. As I said before, you unlock new paths and see new areas of these planets each time you come back. Now, the map layouts are sort of like the old Metroid games in terms of when you look at the map, it's sort of like a 3D map showing you different levels as you go through it, and it reminds you heavily of the Metroid games. Now let's talk about the gameplay, where this game truly shines. It has a mix of Dark Souls and Uncharted gameplay. Now, it's not necessarily as difficult as Dark Souls, unless you put it on the hardest difficulty, which I definitely don't recommend for your first playthrough. I beat it on Jedi Master difficulty, and I'm currently playing through it Jedi Grandmaster. And let me say, the jump between the two difficulties is huge. On Jedi Master, I had a little trouble with most enemies, but on Grandmaster, I am getting my ass handed to me by the smallest enemies. I am a huge fan of the combat in this game because it takes my two favorite games, which are the Uncharted games and the Dark Souls games. This game even has a train sequence in the beginning that feels really similar to Uncharted 2's train sequence. As you play through the game, you'll be doing some platforming, as well as some wall running, which they brought over from the Titanfall games. Also, much like the Uncharted games, you will be solving lots and lots of puzzles throughout the game. The combat bars heavily from the Souls games, requiring you to dodge and parry enemy attacks. It also requires you to pay attention to enemies and their attack patterns if you wish to defeat them. As you fight, you can use force power to help you defeat them, and as you use your force power, your force bar will deplete. You can refill it just by attacking enemies. When you lose health, you can re-heal by using stim packs, which will replenish every time you rest. You can also find more stim packs throughout the worlds that you visit through exploration. Speaking of exploration, as you play through the game, there will be side paths and hidden paths that you can take to look for stim packs and customization for your clothes as well as your lightsaber. There are also holo memories that tell you the past event that happened at that particular location. The customization in this game is alright. You can go through the different lightsaber customization tabs and different clothes that you wish to wear, different ponchos, but it's there if you want it. It's not a huge add-on to the game, it's just there. There are points in the game that kind of act like bonfires from Dark Souls where you can rest, upgrade skills, and replenish stim packs. However, when you rest, all the enemies that you had defeated will respawn, just like in the Souls games. As you play through the game and defeat enemies, you will gain XP points to spend on skill points at the meditation spots. When you die, you will lose the XP that you have, and to get it back, you must attack the enemy that killed you. Overall, I really enjoy this style of gameplay. Combining Uncharted and Dark Souls gameplay, along with a little bit of Titanfall, is truly amazing. I don't think they could have picked a better combination of games to use. So what's the verdict of this game? I think Cal is an amazing character, as well as BD, who is now one of my favorite droids in the Star Wars universe. You can really feel the bond between the two of them. However, the supporting cast could be a little bit better, as well as the villain. The villain could definitely use some more work. The ending of the game is kind of meh as well. You'll see what I mean when you get there. I can't talk about it here because of spoilers. But the story all the way through, up to the end, is amazing. And the references to the Clone Wars are as well. I really enjoyed the combat. I thought it really fit well here. So, what am I going to give this game? I'm going to give this game an 8 out of 10. I would recommend you wait for a sale, as the length of the game sort of makes it not worth the full $60, unless you are a huge Star Wars fan. If you are a huge Star Wars fan, I think you will enjoy this game thoroughly. But that's my Jedi Fallen Order review. Let me know what you thought of the game in the comments, and if you liked the video, please leave a like and maybe subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you guys.